Halo needs a better story. Halo has had the Covenant as the main villain since forever. Halo Infinite looks like it will keep the tradition. My problem with this is that we have seen them so much, it is getting old. I know it is some new brute chieftain named Skyrim of the Banished. They couldn't have used a new enemy, just the same. They could have also staged a different story. It looks like we must kill this dude like at the end of Halo 3. My thesis is that 343 could have used a better story angle. I have 3 stories that I think are much better than what I think Halo Infinite's story is going to be. Number 1, they could have had a human civil war. A UNSC military coup. Number 2, they could have had the Covenant and humans team up against the Flood. Number 3, they could have done Halo CE from the Arbiter's perspective. Number 1, they could have had a human civil war. Let's face it, we all love a good rebellion like Star Wars. A rebellion against the corrupt elite at the UNSC or the United Earth government. I think a good story could be surrounded by a faction of the UNSC wanting to return to their power and influence at the time of the Human Covenant War. It's the year 2554, President Truth Chariot has been removed from office by Admiral Gearing. Gearing has taken over control of Earth and her colonies, through a military coup. Though not all the UNSC is on board his plan and thinks a democratic system is best for governance and that the UNSC has no place in governance. Lord Hood is against this coup and about 20% of the UNSC is with him, leaving them outgunned and vastly undermanned against Gearing. Just then John 117, the Master Chief shows up with Thulvadim, the Arbiter. The Grunts, the Jackals, and the elites have decided to join Lord Hood's rebellion to bring freedom back to humanity. A civil war within humanity where it's between the tyranny of Gearing against Lord Hood aided by the Covenant. It's going to be epic. We have been fighting the Covenant since Halo Combat evolved. Yes, we did play with them in the Arbiter missions in Halo 2, but we haven't ever been formally allied with the Covenant. It would be epic if we could play as a Grunt or Jackal or an elite. Fighting humanity but this time near the good guys. I think this would be a great addition to the Halo franchise where there are competing philosophies. Where they could have the Chief fighting for the UNSC but near midpoint realize they are evil, then joining Lord Hood and getting the Arbiter to get the Covenant to help them. Or they could have Lord Hood already allied with the Covenant and the Arbiter. You face Covenant plus human enemies but at the end, you face off against the UNSC. They could have a trilogy with this concept. I think this would be much better than the one I think they are going for in Halo Infinite. Number 2, they could have the Covenant and humans team up against the Flood. What if Dr. Halsey or Cortana find a way to permanently eliminate the Flood? This could lead to an alliance between the humans and the Covenant against their common foe the Flood. Yet this alliance needs to be fragile, with human Covenant infighting. Old wounds being reopened and the Grave Mind using its powers of persuasion to manipulate humans and Covenant alike. We see the Master Chief questioning his loyalty, whether he is doing the right thing. Do humans deserve to be saved? It's a retrospective game that focuses on the true horrors of the Flood, with the player questioning the motivations of the Human Covenant alliance. This could lead many in the alliance to go insane or try to kill one another. The struggle is seen through many eyes: the Chief, the Arbiter, and maybe Cortana or Halsey. This is the most difficult war since the fall of Reach. This could require fighting in multiple wars and be like Reach, where the Human Covenant alliance is losing but then Cortana finds a secret unfinished Halo ring made by the Forerunners. Now it's a race to it, the Master Chief and the Arbiter lead forces onto the ring, with the Flood closely behind them. It's a race to activate or destroy the Halo ring. Halo Combat evolved but with reversed roles. This game should involve new Flood types, maybe a flying type, new Covenant guns, and new human guns and vehicles. A story like this gives a new perspective to the player of Halo and the horrors of war. We have seen game after game of pumping lead into the Covenant, but we must see the horrors of the Grave Mind. I know it's a divergence from what we have been used to. But I think Halo needs to innovate and try something new to recapture the imagination of new players and old ones alike. Number 3, they could have done Halo CE from the Arbiter's perspective. In Halo 2 we learn that the Arbiter, Thul'Vatam, disgraced after the destruction of the Halo ring, is made into the Arbiter to atone for his sins. 343 can recreate Halo CE but from the Arbiter/Covenant perspective. I think this is a great idea since we will get to play as the Arbiter the entire game and learn more about the Halo lore. They could do this as the Arbiter retelling a story to someone or at his hearing in front of the prophets. It's a big ask, but I think it will be very successful. In conclusion, Halo has a lot of plot points to explore, yet they end up with terrible storylines. I believe these three storylines have great appeal for the fanbase and it will lead to the revival of Halo. Please subscribe, like, and share this video if you like it.